Good morning. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good morning. And welcome back to this shared space, uh, the channel I call A Natural Connection with the Shaman. So, we're going to go over Barbados today, the eighth Goetia. This one, it's kind of like working more with your psychic energy. And we'll get into that in a minute. Um, so, I got all the signs from Barbados and Cajatel yesterday. And these two combined, working with Barbados, is helping you clean up some things in your mind. We already know this. And then it's going to be up to you how Cajatel works with you, the Notoria. So, first, I want to just post some things. How to expand your intelligence. Okay. And again, this is from this book. Okay. They just work hand in hand. Physical exercise and breathing. Okay, physical exercise is something to get your blood pumping. It doesn't have to be super demanding. It could be a walk, it could be a glider, it could be swimming, anything to get your blood moving, right? What this does is it brings more oxygen into the body, helps the mind flow clearer, okay? Makes you feel better and more confident. And when you're more confident and feel better, you make wiser decisions. We all know meditation is very important. It doesn't have to be like all the silliness you see on, you don't have to become a yogi. You know, you don't have to abandon your life and dedicate 19 of the 24 hours of your day to meditation. 10 minutes. If you don't got 10 minutes to meditate, it doesn't always have to be what you think meditation to be. It could be just simply sitting calmly. Like one thing I used to love to do in the morning, sit calmly in the morning after my glider and look at the clouds with no interruptions for at least 10 minutes. And the only thing I would allow my mind to actually think of would be breathing in, bringing it to the stomach, and letting it out. I wouldn't care how long I breathed in, how long I held it, how long I left it out. I mainly let my focus be on the clouds and watching them. It could be anything, it could be looking at a fish tank. As long as you're allowing yourself some quiet downtime for mental clarity. Positive thinking's good. Look for the silver lining on everything. And let me tell you, when working with positive thinking, it can trigger people who are always in the negative. Don't let that discourage you. It's not their journey, it's yours. Okay? You see the silver lining in things, think of a positive solution, and your life will become positive. Work on your chakras. We talked about this, learning what chakra is out of balance. Take the online tests. Do things like your self Reiki. I do self Reiki. I don't absorb others' Reiki anymore. Grounding, pranic, pranayama, qigong, and yoga. Stretching, things like this can help your energy work on your chakras. That's it. long, deep breathing. And then there's more that get pretty detailed, but we're not here for that today. I'm just trying to help you build your auric bubble, okay? And keep a healthier, cleaner body, right? It's important because working with Barbados this week, you're going to rely on your spiritual transformation, your psychic abilities, your intuition, and it's going to determine where your inner compass is pointed towards, how Kahatel works with you. Let's get into this. Okay, so the 8th Goetia, Barbados, the Great Duke. Barbados comes when the sun is in Sagittarius. Okay, the color is green, the color of dukes. Incense is sandalwood, metal is copper, planet is Venus, element is fire, and he is seen as a bearded old man, a philosopher who teaches you how to speak to animals and know what birds are singing. Helps you work through regret and remorse, okay? By teaching you to speak with a strong will, okay? This doesn't mean demanding. This means in your power with what you say. Mean what you say what you mean. Strong will. Okay. Barbados works with the past, present, and future. This is the psychic ability part. Breaks enchantments that have hidden treasures from you. Now, you know, this is one of them things you're going to have to work on. What is a treasure to you? Okay, and I'm going to leave that right there. Diffuses anger between friends and rulers. Enhances your psychic abilities. So let's get into the alchemical. So his alchemical process is tempering metal, specifically copper, with fire and water. So copper with acid from vinegar, okay? So it's funny, yesterday I found this green oxidized rusted penny. The process of tempering copper with acid is to use vinegar to rust or oxidize the copper green. So he was speaking to me yesterday before I even worked with him. So when I got home, I was just preparing for today's presentation of the 8th Goetia. And as I was reading through, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, all these signs came to me yesterday. So if by now, if you followed along with these, your unconscious is working with your conscious mind, and your mind and heart are working together in unison. And you should be seeing it in your reality. Okay? That's why we're doing the alchemy of this. I'm not doing it to... My channel's not monetized. I like to live a healthier, happier life, and these practices are useful. I know a lot of people that could benefit from them. Even just hearing them once a week can help you in your life, especially if you follow through with like any of the exercises, the meditation, the journal work. That alone can help you. If you follow along in the astrology, guess what? You're seeing what I'm seeing. If you go further into it than that, you're a tarot reader, guess what? You're seeing what I'm seeing. We are all seeing the same signs, and they are growing in harmony. They're not really, there's not much negative around. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't come around, but guess what? You're tempering your body, tempering metal, specifically copper, because we're working with Venus. You're tempering your sword, your mind. So the next time struggles come around, you're more prepared for them. Your unconscious is more aware. Your awareness is more heart based. This is the key to the divine mind and God in all things, you'll see. So, the sign of psychic abilities with Barbados is in the sigil: fire and water, specifically acid, vinegar. Okay. This is a representation of spiritual intuition, like the spirit seraphim, the fire serpents, the divine spark in all things, including the desk, including this. How, if you're in tune with the seraphim, material can manifest into visuals, spirits to communicate with you. If you notice, I'm bouncing a Monet exercise ball to keep yesterday my sciatic started acting up, so I need to strengthen the muscles around it. Anyways, spirit, fire, and water representing intuition, psychic abilities, being able to channel your energy, like the Eight of Wands represents telepathic communication. The Two of Wands represents telepathic communication. A few more too, but anyways, we're going on. Today, like I said, this week is going to be mainly you working with your intuition, mental clarity, meditation, breath work, and what's coming next. So the color green represents water, intermediate stage of oxidation. It represents copper, Venus, prosperity, growth, luck, harmony, healing, and renewal, transformation, and rebirth. Prima material, meaning your raw, untamed energy, nature, and fertility. Since we're speaking of that, in the desert, out of nowhere, found a watermelon patch. I mean, it's close to a park, so somebody could have just randomly thrown watermelon seeds there. But it was in the desert part of it. And these two, Barbados and Cajatel, have a lot to do with this. I also found pomegranate tree. Pomegranates, if you've ever heard the story of Hades and Persephone, when she had, now regardless what tales are spun today, the original mythos was she actually fell in love with Hades, right? And she had to go back to the gods. Persephone represents the sun. When the sun comes up in spring, she has to come to the light, and then when she goes down in summer, she has to go to the underworld, right? But anyways, the mythology is a beautiful tale of when she goes back to the light, to the gods. Hades hands her a pomegranate. He says, whenever you wish, bite the pomegranate and you will be home with me, right? So it represents connecting to the spirit world, passed on, your passed on loved ones, your ancestors. The underworld doesn't always mean damned and damned and cursed. It actually, in all the old mythologies, represented where your family went when they died to process, to basically heal before their afterlife. Where were we? Sandalwood, again, relaxation, mental clarity, meditation, helps you connect to your spiritual awareness, creates a sense of inner peace and clears negative energy. We'll get into that in a moment. Copper. These are the reason why I list these is they are all in the sigil. Okay. And you can find alchemical sigil books like the three books of occult philosophy by Agrippa, Enochian magic, the grimoires of Solomon. Just I can't think of all of them right now, but you can find them and learn how these sigils were created to describe practices to be worked with. So, copper, conductive. Copper helps your immune system and it helps the body produce energy. Okay. It brings healing, balance, grounding, enhances psychic abilities. So, here we go with psychic abilities again, right? Speaking of such, where is my copper coin, the big one? Anyway, and it opens channels within your nadis and meridians for you to receive guidance from the spiritual realm. What spiritual realm are we working with? Venus. What does Venus represent? Self-love, beauty, love, harmony, creativity, femininity, emotional wellness, sensuality, pleasure, spiritual growth, and attracting the abundance that you truly want. Okay. How are we going to work with this? Fire. Purify. Purify could be, exercise. Get out in that sun, take a walk, swim, work up a sweat lodge, sauna, whatever works for you, right? Fire. Purify. Transform yourself. Transform your energies. If you have negative energy or you're upset or stagnant or sad, depressed, angry, lonely, miserable, whatever, move. Put some action in your body and it'll push out the toxins that are holding those into you. It'll wear copper. What you do? Copper bracelets, copper rings. Go nuts and copper head wrap or whatever, wrap copper wire all around your body and go walking. It'll open up your nadis and meridians. Help you breathe properly. Clear that energy so you can transform into more better energy. This helps you connect to the divine more, right? Now, not everybody wants to connect to the divine. I like it. It's like my best friend. It's my greatest love. It's my ultimate mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, my brothers. It's my best friend, my trusted confidant. Okay. But say you're not so much into, you just, well, guess what? You can still live a better life by purifying your energy through fire, action, move, heat, sweat. Release negative energy, enhance mental clarity. You'll think better. Are you studying for something? Exercise, breathing helps your mind focus without drugs. Okay. It's calming. It's calming for your body. Have you ever stared into a fire? Hey, sometimes just sitting next to a fire, burning sweat, that can help too. But also hearing the flickers and the embers and watching the flames dance can be very relaxing, calming, reduces stress, helps build passion within you. Passion is good for a lot of things besides fighting and creativity. It's also, or fighting and sexuality, it's good for creativity. It's good for knowing what you want and being confident enough to go after it, feeling good within your body. Passion, uplifting, right? and fire represents God's presence. Remember the burning bush story? I'm sure you do. So, how many mushrooms do you think they took to write that one? I don't know. Just a joke. Okay. Understanding of birds singing and dogs barking. Okay. Understanding the birds singing is to understand the alchemical, the spiritual transformation that we're undergoing within. Understanding dogs barking is the alchemical metaphor for the alchemical process that leads to spiritual and emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence is knowing yourself, what your triggers are, what your things that make you sad are, what your passions are, what your joys are, your sensual, sexual side, knowing these things and being fully aware of them and understanding which ones are healthy, which ones are not, and embracing the healthy ones and working on the not so healthy ones without dumping it on the world, right? It can help you. So that's what they mean by, but you know what? I swear, I whistle the birds, they whistle back. We play the same notes back and forth, and you can pretty much understand animals by their own body language, their natural swagger. You know, they have nothing to hide. They're pure at heart. Wild animals are extremely pure at heart. And if you're not careful with the right wild animals, they'll let you know, hey, I don't appreciate that. You're stepping over my boundaries, right? Tamed animals, same way. Like animals are pure hearted. So even though these are metaphors for spiritual and emotional intelligence and understanding your own spiritual transformation, both of those things are going to help you understand animals because it doesn't take words to know things. You're going to be tapping into your psychic intuition. If you're watching this, if you're watching my channel, you're somebody who can already read people without words, right? Maybe you're just looking for someone else who's at ease with the fact that they can do this. What happens when you're psychic, intuitive, or able to, let's just say you're able to read people on hunches, right? You know, things you've seen throughout your life, patterns, you're good at pattern recognition, facial features. Do people smile with their eyes? Do they twitch when they're lying? Do they fidget when they're nervous? You know, I don't fucking know, but you can read people, right? Maybe you're just looking for somebody to help you understand that, yeah, this is true. Because what happens is when you can see through people, life can be hard to manage, right? So that's why this week we're going to work on what your morals are, right? Because depending on what you're dealing with in life, if you're having to read a lot of misinformation, meaning the reading is telling you the true nature, like understanding animals and their true nature, yet the voice is saying things that are not in alignment, right? They're missing the connection, right? Maybe you're in the wrong atmosphere. Maybe you're barking at the wrong tree. And this can help you. So, what are we working with to enlighten our mind? Notoria Angels Kahatel. We are working with the adored God, of course. I'm going to talk to this one as like it is an angel, because these are angelic and shadow angelic forces in your life. conscious, unconscious, celestial, hidden underworld, right? Higher mind, fear-based mind. The middle is the sub that relays the messages. I learned that from a wizard. Anyways, Kahatel blesses our tasks if they are carried out with righteousness and iron will, in the name of a higher purpose for yourself that generates fertility and progress. Like, we could be working with food. Kahatel governs the fruits of your labor, especially related to agriculture, food, and nourishment of your body. But also, Kahatel rationally intervenes on overly strong and intense energies by moderating it or diminishing it, making desires of fame, glory, or power, ego mentality, right, alienate you from honest, moral, and pure intentions or goals that you're seeking out. So this week is up to you. Do you seek fame, glory, and power over others? I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be seen for your work and all that, but is it your primary motivation? Or do you do it so that it can nourish your body, your family, your home, and your life? This is what we're working with. Hang on. This phone. I recently learned that when you put do not disturb on and a notification for a phone comes through, it means that they are pushing no, I want to talk to you now. Anyways, so this week's up to you. You shall see with your own work, because Kahatel is an angelic force of the universe. This is an energy of the same thing that creates the universe, okay? It's connected to the mind because you were created by the universe, okay? Just like a flower, a sun, a planet, a solar system. Everything is created in a harmonic sequence from the divine consciousness of all and things we don't even know of yet. So, this is why you want to work with your meditations, learning your unconscious, uh, getting your psychic information proper, understanding where you're coming from. Because at the end or during this week, you're going to see if it's helpful, if your pursuits are helpful, or if they're keeping you from good things. Now, that doesn't mean that you're damned to always be hidden from the good things. Remember, we're revealing hidden treasures. Now, remember, what's a treasure to you? So, once you understand where your morals lie and your compass is guiding you, you can maybe readjust and make better choices to live a more nourishing life for you and all those around you. So, if you seek to live a well-nourished life and honest, this angel will drive away all the evil humans, spirits, and curses. What do those things mean? People who just don't like you, okay? Spirits can be the envy, jealousy, hatred, whatever. Their shadows. They're shadows of themselves projected onto another is what I consider spirits, right? Because it's like this. If you don't feel good about something that you do, like you're not good enough, right? What you do is you believe other people think that about you. So you're casting upon them a curse to already dislike you, when that's usually not even the case. It's all in your own head. So if there's people who are in negative spirits towards you, right, the curse is going to be broken, and you will no longer be affected by these things, and it will instill within you a strong voice, right? So when you have a strong voice, this makes you able to be understood when you speak and heard without those negative spirits rising in others, right? Nobody really knows they have a problem until it's mirrored to them, right? And let's just think, who was it? Who was it when I was a kid? I think it was one of my friend's parents, or maybe one of my cousins and my aunts. When they were throwing a tantrum, put a mirror in front of them. And it worked. It worked. So that's why I always use that reference. Okay. So usually people don't understand the ridiculousness of the limitations they put on their own mind. And if you're working in good spirits, this divine energy is going to help not just like cast away people, but help break that curse over whatever is in your life. Remember, Barbados reconciles friends and rulers and disperses anger amongst friends. Okay. Okay. This is to instill within you a voice that is able to speak publicly. Or if you're in the acting career, do good in the arts. Same thing with singing. Or just give more presence to your voice so it is heard. During this week, choose your words wisely. This week, if you grow foods, herbs, or any sort of nourishing crops, you will have great yields from them. You want to work, if you're into alchemy, if you work with Solomon seals, work with Pentacles 1 through 4 of Venus. I don't particularly like to work with Pentacle 5. I'm not trying to force anybody to love me. I really wouldn't want to force that. I wouldn't want to be forced to love anyone either. So, use discernment. The only incantation I would offer today is to work with Psalms 119, verse 75. Adonai, I know that your judgments are righteous, that in faithfulness you have afflicted me. So if you're corrected this week, know that it was for your higher good, not as a punishment. It's something to learn from. I think we just went over this recently. So keep a little journal, psychic notes, meditation notes, predictions, recalling of the past, working with the spirits of people who may be departed from your life, signs in your environment, and keep a close eye on it. This week determines your progress moving forward from here. So I hope this was helpful for you. This has been Barbatos and Cajatel, and it should be doing good for you. For those of you who've been following along, I'm sure you're seeing some pretty cool stuff. Really, how do you explain it? Peace out.